For years, the name Leonardo DiCaprio was synonymous not just with blockbuster success, but with a particular cinematic narrative, the actor who consistently delivered Oscar-worthy performances, yet seemingly couldn't secure the Academy's highest honor. This perception fueled a widespread public and critical discussion, creating a unique anticipation around each of his new releases. Many audiences, critics, and industry insiders found themselves asking, when would his moment finally arrive, and for which role would it be justly awarded? This video explores 7 such performances, roles that ignited the debate and cemented his status as a perennial contender. In 1993, a relatively unknown Leonardo DiCaprio delivered a performance that immediately turned heads. As Arnie Grape in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, a developmentally disabled teenager, DiCaprio showcased an astonishing depth and commitment. This portrayal earned him his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor at just 19 years old. While he ultimately lost to Tommy Lee Jones for The Fugitive, many critics at the time, and retrospectively, argued that DiCaprio's raw, empathetic, and physically demanding performance was truly deserving of the win, establishing a pattern that would follow him for decades. The critical reception for DiCaprio's work in What's Eating Gilbert Grape was overwhelmingly positive. Reviewers lauded his ability to inhabit the character of Arnie so completely, avoiding caricature and instead presenting a nuanced, believable portrayal of a complex individual. The Washington Post, for instance, described his performance as a genuinely heartbreaking portrayal. This early success, and the subsequent snub in the eyes of many, set a precedent. It highlighted DiCaprio's capacity for transformative acting and foreshadowed the strong reactions his future Oscar losses would evoke from his growing fanbase and the critical community. Over a decade later, in 2004, Leonardo DiCaprio earned his second Oscar nomination, this time for Best Actor, for his portrayal of the eccentric industrialist Howard Hughes in Martin Scorsese's The Aviator. DiCaprio meticulously researched Hughes's life, from his aviation ambitions to his escalating obsessive-compulsive disorder. Critics noted his intense, committed performance, capturing both Hughes's brilliant ambition and his tragic decline. The New York Times remarked on how DiCaprio bravely plunges into the character's tortured psyche. Despite the acclaim, he lost to Jamie Foxx for Ray, leading to renewed discussions about the perceived difficulty of him securing an Academy Award. DiCaprio's performance in The Aviator required him to embody a character battling mental illness, a challenge that many in the industry recognized as demanding. Film historian and critic David Thompson commented on the sheer physicality and psychological immersion DiCaprio demonstrated. He conveyed Hughes's increasing isolation and germophobia with a disturbing realism, demonstrating a profound understanding of the character's internal struggles. This transformation, from a charismatic mogul to a reclusive figure, was widely cited as a masterclass in acting, prompting many to believe that this was indeed his year for the Oscar. The loss only intensified the narrative surrounding his unrewarded talent. Just 2 years later, in 2006, DiCaprio earned his third Best Actor nomination for Blood Diamond. In this role, he played Danny Archer, a Rhodesian mercenary caught in the brutal diamond trade of Sierra Leone. The performance required DiCaprio to adopt a gruff accent and display a hardened, morally ambiguous demeanor. Critics lauded his commitment to the gritty realism of the role, with Roger Ebert describing it as a powerful, convincing performance. Many observers felt that this was a departure from his more glamorous roles, showcasing his versatility. He lost to Forest Whitaker for The Last King of Scotland, reigniting the snub discussions once more. DiCaprio's work in Blood Diamond was seen by many as evidence of his deliberate effort to push beyond earlier romantic lead roles. He immersed himself in the character's complex moral landscape, portraying Archer not as a simple villain but as a man shaped by his environment, navigating a world of violence and desperation. This complex portrayal resonated deeply with audiences and critics alike, who appreciated the nuance he brought to a challenging character. The performance was frequently cited as one of his strongest and most demanding up to that point, leading many to believe that the Academy would finally recognize his evolving prowess. Yet, the outcome was unchanged. The year 2006 proved to be particularly contentious for DiCaprio's Oscar narrative. Not only was he nominated for Blood Diamond, but he also delivered a critically acclaimed performance in Martin Scorsese's crime thriller, The Departed, portraying undercover state trooper Billy Costigan. Despite widespread praise for his intense and vulnerable portrayal, DiCaprio surprisingly did not receive a Best Actor nomination for this role. Many critics expressed disbelief, arguing that his nuanced performance, capturing the psychological toll of deep cover work, was arguably stronger than some of the nominated performances that year, including his own for Blood Diamond. The omission of The Departed from DiCaprio's Oscar recognition sparked a significant outcry from both fans and critics. His portrayal of Billy Costigan, a character constantly on the brink of psychological collapse, resonated deeply. The raw intensity and internal conflict he conveyed were widely regarded as highlights of the film, which itself went on to win Best Picture. The discrepancy, a Best Picture win without a Best Actor nomination for its central, highly praised performance, only further solidified the public perception that DiCaprio was somehow being overlooked. This marked a turning point, embedding the DiCaprio Oscar snub firmly into popular culture. In 2008, DiCaprio reunited with Kate Winslet in Revolutionary Road, portraying Frank Wheeler, a man stifled by suburban life. His performance was lauded for its nuanced depiction of quiet desperation, marital strife, and unfulfilled aspirations. While the film garnered significant critical attention and Winslet earned an Oscar, DiCaprio was once again not nominated. Reviewers frequently highlighted his ability to convey Frank's inner turmoil and the slow erosion of his dreams with subtle yet powerful expressions. Many asserted that his portrayal was a masterful study in middle-class malaise, further adding to the growing list of performances deemed worthy of Oscar consideration. Critics often pointed to DiCaprio's subtle yet profound work in Revolutionary Road as a testament to his evolving range. He eschewed grand gestures for a more internalized performance, reflecting Frank Wheeler's repressed emotions and simmering resentment. The New York Film Critics Online lauded his finely calibrated performance. This ability to convey complex emotional states through quiet observation and understated reactions impressed many, who believed it demonstrated a maturity in his craft often overlooked by awards bodies. The fact that his co-star, Winslet, won the Oscar that year intensified the conversation around DiCaprio's persistent lack of recognition. In Quentin Tarantino's 2012 film, Django Unchained, Leonardo DiCaprio took on the role of Calvin Candy, a charming yet sadistic plantation owner. This villainous portrayal marked a significant departure for the actor, showcasing his willingness to embrace darker, more morally reprehensible characters. His performance was widely praised for its audaciousness and chilling intensity. The Guardian noted his masterful transformation into a monstrous, yet captivating, villain. Despite the widespread critical acclaim and his memorable on-screen presence, DiCaprio once again did not receive an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor, to the surprise and disappointment of many. DiCaprio's performance as Calvin Candy became instantly iconic. He reportedly improvised a moment where he cut his hand on a glass during filming but continued the scene, bleeding, which was ultimately used in the final cut. This incident was often cited as evidence of his intense dedication and immersion in the role. Many critics pointed to Candy as one of the most memorable and effective villains in recent cinematic history, underscoring DiCaprio's ability to command the screen even in morally repugnant roles. The absence of an Oscar nomination for such a distinct and bold performance further solidified the belief that the Academy consistently undervalued his work. In 2013, Leonardo DiCaprio delivered what many considered to be a career-defining performance as the debauched stockbroker Jordan Belfort in Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street. His portrayal was a tour de force of manic energy, black humor, and unapologetic excess. This performance earned him his fourth Best Actor nomination. The film was a critical and commercial success, with DiCaprio at its roaring center. The New Yorker described his acting as a performance of astonishing, sustained bravura. Despite the immense praise and the demanding nature of the role, he lost to Matthew McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club, intensifying the public's emotional investment in his Oscar quest. DiCaprio's commitment to portraying the outrageous highs and lows of Jordan Belfort was evident in every scene of The Wolf of Wall Street. From his frenetic speeches to his drug-fueled escapades, he channeled an almost theatrical energy that captivated audiences. The film's director, Martin Scorsese, reportedly gave DiCaprio significant freedom to improvise, which contributed to the raw, visceral quality of his performance. This demanding, physically exhaustive role, which showcased both his comedic timing and dramatic prowess, became yet another example cited by those who believed an Oscar was long overdue. The narrative of when, not if, grew louder after this loss. Across these 7 distinct performances, a clear narrative emerged around Leonardo DiCaprio's career, that of an actor consistently pushing boundaries, delivering critically acclaimed work, yet repeatedly missing out on the Academy's top prize. This ongoing situation transcended mere industry speculation. It became a cultural phenomenon, fueling countless memes, discussions, and a collective rooting interest among moviegoers worldwide. Each nomination, and subsequent loss, only intensified this public sentiment, creating a unique tension leading up to future awards seasons. The question wasn't if he would win, but for which role, and how much longer the wait would be. The cumulative effect of these performances was undeniable. They demonstrated DiCaprio's versatility, his commitment to challenging roles, and his willingness to fully embody complex characters, from the vulnerable Arnie Grape to the unhinged Jordan Belfort. While the Academy's decision-making process is often opaque and subject to various factors beyond raw performance, the consistent critical praise for these roles underscored a significant disconnect between public and critical opinion and the actual award outcomes. Many within the industry, including directors he worked with, often voiced their admiration and surprise at his prolonged Oscar drought. These roles, marked by both nominations and surprising snubs, built a powerful overdue narrative that shaped public and media perception for years. Every new film DiCaprio released seemed to carry the weight of this expectation. This pressure, while external, arguably pushed him to continue seeking out challenging and transformative characters, each adding another layer to his already impressive resume. The investigative lens applied to his career reveals not just a series of performances, but a journey that collectively cemented his place in cinematic history, whether or not an Oscar statuette was immediately bestowed. Ultimately, the story of Leonardo DiCaprio and the Academy Award became less about a single win and more about the enduring power of his performances. While he eventually received his Oscar for The Revenant in 2015, the conversation leading up to that moment was intrinsically shaped by the prior decades of work. These 7 performances stand as testaments to an actor's unwavering dedication to his craft, roles that captivated audiences, challenged critics, and ignited a global debate about what truly constitutes Oscar-worthy. His legacy, therefore, is not solely defined by his eventual win, but by the compelling, often overlooked, artistry of these earlier, unforgettable portrayals.